Hello, everyone. This is a channeling session done on the 1st of February. So happy February, everybody. I'm going to be tuning into bird collective consciousness, in particular focusing on blue jays. I had one come to me this morning, and I just closed my eyes and I listened, and I found really good information was coming while I was just listening to the birds' chirps and song, and then it was like a communication. My brain was translating it in a way I could understand, and I felt so much the information was beneficial that I should bring this being through. So, without further ado, enjoy. Thank you. All right. Thank you all for your ears to hear these messages. Our kind sing and serenade the ears of all of you, reminding you of the eternal song that is your heart. It is the song of creation, the music, the vibration of creation that drives the locomotion, the progression, the expansion of creation. This song of creation is accessed through your heartbeat. When you listen to your heartbeat, that pounding, that beating, that rhythmic percussion is in that sense the drumbeat of your path, the drumbeat of your individual extension of infinity into a finite expression which you experience as being a human being. It is that drumbeat of the heart that is the song of creation, compelling you along your path, urging you, asking you, inspiring you to move in a way that represents harmony with that eternal song. When we sing our songs as birds, as avians, we are transmitting higher vibrational, you could say, instruments that are a part of that song. We are downloading into your planet and our planet's collective the idea of this song and this music in a very pronounced way, so all beings have a greater ability to tune into it and to listen to it. As you listen to this song, you will find that synchronicity will follow you, because synchronicity in many ways is part of the music. Think of the synchronicity as a crescendo or as a build-up. It is in that way helping to stitch together the seemingly unrelated events that are all synchronous with one another, that are all connected with one another. And when you tune into that song, which again is representative of universal harmony, connection, and order, the idea is you see that order and organization of the song reflected back to you through the idea of enhanced synchronicities, and synchronicities that are clear, that you can understand, because as you become more familiarized with the music, with the song of creation, you then understand that song more. It becomes more intimate, just as you can think of your own favorite songs, and you can really go back into that memory and the intricacy of how it sounds. You know it from the inside out. The song of creation is the same. As you explore your heart, and as you sing your song by being yourself, the synchronicities which are a part of that song will be able to become more apparent to you, and because of the familiarity, you'll be able to more greatly translate them and understand how that song is inspiring you, how that song is guiding you. We sing to assist you in remembering this. Every time you align with your heart, you are choosing to sing this creational hymn, this creational song. The idea is that as you continue to sing this song, as you continue to be the instrument, the musical instrument of creation that you are, it inspires your collective in that way, your human collective, to join in with this song because it's catchy. Just as you hear a pop song and it can get stuck in people's heads, the song of creation is very similar in that sense, in that when you choose to sing the song by being yourself, it creates a field of inspiration. You could think of it as the sound waves of that song expanding outward from your being, rippling into the bubbles and realities of those around you. And if they find that song resonates with them, then they can very easily begin to tune in. For some people, of course, that are not familiar with the song of creation, this may be a bit of a process-based experience for them, where they'll hear the song a couple times, they'll listen to it, they'll understand it, they'll mull it over, and like a fine wine, they may find themselves saying, you know what? At first, this song was maybe a little challenging, or maybe a little triggering, or maybe it brought up some feelings within me, as all beautiful songs can do. But now that I have sat and reflected upon it and the way I feel in this reflection, I understand this is actually a very powerful song, and it's a song that resonates with the core of who I am. And for many individuals, this is the process that they go through. On the outside, in your own reality, so to say, when you look into the bubbles of others, you may not always see that this is the process that's unfolding. It may appear as if they are simply choosing to stay where they are, to sing maybe a song that is less profound and all-encompassing than the song of creation. But the idea is, if you could look into the person, what you will find is that they're actually engaging in a process-based experience, where they are becoming familiarized and acclimated to these higher vibrations. And then after some reflection, after some integration, many of these individuals will begin to sing that same song, but their own unique version of it, their own unique expression of it, because all of you are different. All of you are unique. The more you become who you are, the more you allow for who you are to be what you experience, the more of the song you'll be able to hear from your own heart, from your own body, from your own mind. But you'll also begin to hear the song more greatly in nature. Because as birds, as avians, we also sing, as we have said. We donate, in that sense, our voices as multidimensional instruments to act as complements to the song. But we are not the only musicians that are a part of this song. All of creation is a part of this song. When you go into nature, when you become relaxed and you listen, you will find that there may be a connection, an association between what you experience in yourself and the subtle sounds of nature that appear around you. You may be going through, potentially, maybe in a meditative space in nature, a deep realization. And you may find that as you're having this realization, birds may start singing to you, or the wind may start blowing. This is the song. This is the song. Remember, nature, default-wise, is synchronous. Nature runs on synchronicity. You have been taught in your sciences to view nature as random and chaotic. Now, chaos, in many ways, is a part of nature. However, you cannot have chaos without order. They are part of a dualistic equation. So as you have chaos, you also simultaneously have order, simultaneously existing in the same system. So nature, in that way, is both chaos and order simultaneously. It appears to be chaos in the dualistic sense from the human point of view, in relationship to the idea of not being able to clearly differentiate or see the overarching or grand patterns that are organizing nature over long periods of time, over eons. That is the order. The idea is when you have a dull psychic perception, a dull psychic sense, the ability to perceive that order then begins to become a little vague, and instead chaos is then what is perceived. Both are available to you. Order and chaos both exist. You're able to experience them. Nature contains both. When you become yourself, you begin to see the natural order that appears to exist within a illusory, chaotic environment. Nature, in that way, when the wind blows while you're having an inspiration, or you see an animal while you're thinking about something you're deeply contemplating, the idea is that that is the order within the chaos. You are seeing, in that sense, from a totally infinite potential environment, when you're in nature, you manifest in animal messengers, nature communications that represent from that field of infinite possibility the experiences that are a vibrational synchronistic match for the energy you're expressing. So when you are yourself, you'll receive these synchronicities and messages from nature, and you'll find that nature constantly speaks to you and is constantly reflecting whatever song you are singing. In order to, in that way, create more of heaven on earth, to create more of the utopia your people say you wish to experience, to be yourself fully will allow for you to experience that infinite, heart-based reflection in all of the natural world. As that is sustained and as that is integrated, that is what represents in many ways the shifting of timelines, from timelines that have ecological destruction, that have uncomfortable collective situations. When you choose to be yourself, you are shifting away from that version of Earth to a version of Earth where harmony, abundance, synergy, coexistence, co-creation is natural amongst all of the populations in a conscious, embodied way. That is the benefit, you could say. That is the effect, you could say, from singing your song, from being yourself. Because you're holding that vibration, whatever it is you're creating within your being, up to the mirror of nature. So if you hold up a song or sing a song to nature that is based in maybe hate or grief or sadness as the dominant motivational energy, then nature will always reflect that back to you. And that will, of course, crystallize over time as that type of song is sung, and then that becomes the idea of the person's timeline, the person's extension. When the individual chooses to operate from the heart, it's that energy that's then reflected back by nature, and that energy, just like the other, will crystallize and peak over time and will assist the individual in shifting to more preferred versions of this planet, more preferred versions of the earth and the human-based collective. This is our primary message for each of you. Learn to listen very deeply to your heart. If it assists you, go into a space where it is very quiet, where it is very comfortable, where you can withdraw your senses so you can begin to listen inwardly. Create that ability to listen inwardly. And as you deepen that ability, you'll find when you are in nature and you hear us, the birds, singing, and you listen inwardly, you'll receive messages from us. You'll receive specific communications and lessons from us. We are, in that sense, one of the easier beings to inwardly listen with because we are singing to you. Other beings, such as trees and plants, their songs are less obvious, so they may be a little more challenging to listen to, but it is doable. We would in that way encourage you, listen to your heart, listen to our songs, and then begin to listen to the more subtle songs that exist that you may not be able to hear with your ears. The songs of the minerals, the songs of the mountains, the songs of the trees. Inwardly listen when you are experiencing these types of stimuli, and you will receive the songs. If you wish to know how to inwardly listen, the idea would be to close the eyes and become relaxed and feel your conscious mind, which for many of you is localized up in the brain. Begin to feel that conscious mind dropping into the heart and cover your heart with your hands, feeling the beat. And as you cover your heart with your hands and you listen and feel your heartbeat, allow for your breath to become deep and expansive and your whole body becoming relaxed. Feel this relaxation and this breath. And feel how the breath, the in-out flow of oxygen, relaxes the heart so it can become quiet. As the heart becomes quiet, inward listening turns on. Become aware of the ears. And imagine you are connecting your ears to your heart. And as you feel this connection between the ears and the heart, allow for yourself to simply listen to the sounds that may be around you. And as you hear these songs that are around you, the sounds, cars passing, birds, maybe someone in the home or in the room next to you, whatever sounds you hear, imagine you're hearing them from the heart, that you're actually listening to them, that the sound is reaching your consciousness, not through the physical ears, but through the heart. Begin to imagine that all thoughts you're having are not coming from your brain, but are coming from your heart. Listening and thinking from the heart. Allow for yourself to ask the heart, what message would you like to share? And listen in to your heart, to your thoughts. And you'll find your heart has messages for you. Do not invalidate the messages, unless of course you wish. Recognize the message that your heart has given you or will give you is very vital, very crucial, and is an essential step in your journey, and that is why your heart has delivered it. As we have said, the heartbeat is the song. It guides you and inspires you and prompts you to move along your highest frequency path. So as you listen to the heart, it will communicate with you, and you will that way receive heart-based messages, heart-based inspirations that allow for you to synchronize more greatly with the song of creation. Practice this, if you wish, daily to perfect your inner listening skills and to expand them. We then invite you, begin to inner listen to other beings, to that song of the birds, to the blowing of the wind, to the crinkling of leaves as animals walk throughout your forests. Listen to these songs inwardly from your heart, and you will find they too have messages for you that will likely be very expansive, very enlightening, because you're using in that way a bigger mirror. Think of your heart in that sense as a mirror that reflects back to you information that is relevant for you to know in a very internal way, because the heart is an internal mirror. It's inside of you. So it will in that way give you very personal messages that are very uplifting and are able to help assist you in very direct personal ways. As you begin to listen to the songs of nature, you will find that that personal message that you receive from the heart will become more expanded and more all-encompassing. And the idea is the natural environments around you represent external mirrors. Because nature in that sense is not a singular being, but a collective consciousness, you are in that way receiving information from the mirror of nature that is much more expanded, because it's not just one being communicating with you in that way. It is a collective consciousness based in ecosystems. So the messages that come through will be very expansive, very diverse, and will assist you in expanding your bubble of self from being a single being to being a collective being. Because when we observe you as birds, we see you not as one being, we see you as infinite beings. We see you and your other lifetimes. And we also see how you are all connected to one another in this web of human collective consciousness. And it is more appropriate in that way to see you not as individuals, but to see you as collectives of collectives. Internally, you are a collective consciousness. Externally, amongst your human family, you are also a collective consciousness. So we see you as a collective of collectives. As you listen to nature, you will in that way, over time, begin to expand your sense of self from an individual being to a collective. That progression will be very expansive but gradual. You will find at first, you will likely become in that way connected more greatly to those around you, and you will begin to see those around you as an extension of yourself, reinforcing the knowingness you are in fact a collective. As that begins to build, as that begins to peak, you will find the actual environment around you is an extension of yourself, as in that sense is nature. Nature is you. You are a part of that collective consciousness. And when you connect with nature and listen to nature, you are using a massive collective consciousness mirror to reflect back to you information. Because the mirror is larger, the information is more expanded, more comprehensive, and more diverse and global in terms of the effects the information will have once it is applied. The healthier your physical body is, the cleaner your translations of the messages will be. The more synchronized your belief systems are with the knowledge base that represents the unconditional nature of your existence, the cleaner the translation of the messages will be. When you receive these psychic inputs from nature and your heart, we remind you it filters through your psychology. If your psychology is not operating at its fullest because of physical imbalances or psychological imbalances through negative perceptions, narratives, beliefs, then the messages will be somewhat distorted. The idea is the heart song, and listening to it will assist you in translating all of those other songs in a way that is observed and experienced through the heart's point of view, and that can help to clear up the signal. So that way you get messages that are more representative of what is beneficial for you and what is beneficial for your world. When the signal is staticky, when the radio of the brain, so to say, isn't being the best receiver it can be, the messages may be a little unclear, they may be a little fuzzy, they may in that sense be a little confusing, you may not understand them, but as the brain and the heart communicate together like a team, and as your body continues its progression into deeper states of health and wellness reflecting your natural self, your ability to translate and hear these signals will intensify and become perfected. And you will essentially, in that way, be then able to very easily listen to any being that you are connected to, whom it is relevant for you to listen to, and you can hear them clearly and openly, and in very deep, heart-based ways. Whether it's a human, whether it's an animal, whether it's a tree, whether it's an ET, whether it's a Sasquatch, whether it's a dolphin or a mermaid, it does not necessarily matter. When you develop that inner listening and you clear up the signal, all beings that wish to communicate with you, that are a match for you, you'll be able to hear their messages loud and clear. On behalf of all avians, your eyes in the sky allies, we wish you all a beautiful existence, and we invite you to soar high with us. Join us in the crescendos. Join us in singing the song of creation. Thank you so much for your gift of life.